The first question is, what would you do as a commissioner to try to improve the infrastructure in the outer parts of the county, or in the county in general?
Okay, to improve the general infrastructure, you're talking about the physical, or are you talking about more like the administrative?
Well, physical infrastructure and as well as internet and things like that.
Well, we've done a lot
roads.
with the internet, as you well know, with the broadband, through Drive and through Geisinger, very magnanimous efforts to help us with a loan that is not necessarily necessary to repay, but we will repay. Drive will repay, actually, through Drive, in the event that they would make enough income, I believe. So that was one approach that we've already been successful in, and spoken to a few people that have already signed up and for the broadband. We're doing whatever we can with bridges. For example, the Foggy Mountain Road Bridge, which used to be called Fairview Drive, is now called Foggy Mountain Road. That bridge was wiped out last August in the flooding situation that happened, as we're all well aware of. So they're the types of things that, as far as the roads, many of the roads are owned by the state. Many of the bridges are owned by the state as well. But the county does own some bridges. We inspect those bridges every 3 years, and alternate which ones we do every 3 years, so they're continually maintained and inspected.
Okay. Thank you. Should the county increase workers' pay to retain more employees?
I think, Joe, that'd be a great idea. The question is how. Where do you get the funds to repay, to increase those? I mean, what we do is we do offer a very strong benefits package. It's one of the best that I'm aware of around, as far as the medical end of it. And so those types of things make the position a little more palatable, even though that the pay may not equal something else, some other area. The hours are shorter, so if you do it by hour, it may not look as bad as it initially does to someone. However, we've seemed to be a stepping stone for some people. For example, the correction officers, they can get a job here. Then with the experience, they apply to state institutes, and which makes a lot more money. We can't match that. There's no way of matching that based on our budget as far as our income. If our income would increase, which is the way I would like to do it, is increase the top line. How do you do that? The negative end is you raise taxes, which we don't want to do, and we haven't done. We've only raised them a little bit this previous year, which is the first time in 6 years. So, my theory is we have to increase the top line in a different manner, different from raising taxes. More development, more residential development, more commercial development. Those types of areas should bring in more taxes.
How can the commissioners attract more jobs to the county?
That's all a good question. And every small community, every rural community wrestles with that day in and day out. Be more attractive to business opening here. One of the approaches is recreation. The generation that are moving and come looking to start new careers after college or move up from a different career, they're very recreation minded. So to increase the amount of recreation facilities we have, of course that leads right directly towards the Montour Preserve. What we've done through the Mark Board is kept the Montour Preserve open when PP&L sold to Talon Industries, they want to close down the preserve. And of course, we've worked very hard at maintaining that and keeping it open. And that is one way to attract new business. We do have a reduced tax structure for new businesses in the first 5 years through the LERTA program. So all of those things are the type of things that we're doing.
What's the number one problem the county faces?
Number one problem.
And the follow-up is, how can you fix it?
Well, I
What's
think
the solution?
I think that question is kind of piggybacks the other question is, how do you bring in new business? So I don't know if I'd say the number one business is to increase income. However, I might lean more towards the unfunded mandates. The requirement by the federal and the state government to do certain things, but they don't give us the funding or have reduced the funding that they used to give for those types of mandates. Prime example at this particular juncture would be requiring us to change our voting machines. The governor has handed down the edict that everyone needs to have a paper trail ballot. We have a paper trail ballot, and we've had a paper trail ballot with our machines for years, but they're not certified. So we have to, at about 2% of our total budget, replace all these machines. In some areas, it's maybe 0.2% of their total budget. So it's being a smallest geographic county, every dollar is tough. We pinch. We've trimmed the budget. We've trimmed to the bone. We've nicked the bone in some cases. We've cut some things out that have created some controversy, but some things you can't really do anything without making someone upset.